Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we have, it's not really a mystery, it's more just like a creepy story that I find really interesting. And if you saw my first video, you know I'm from Memphis, and so I really like mysteries that happened here in my city. And although it doesn't really give us the best reputation, I just find them very interesting because I can go to the places that they really happened, and it just kind of has a lot more meaning for me. So this one is about Georgia Tann, also known as the baby snatcher. And if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. So here in Memphis, there's a woman who ran an elaborate black market adoption scheme from the 1920s to the 1940s. She sold her babies to many elites and also some famous people that you may know from back then, such as Joan Crawford, June Allison, and Dick Powell, and the adoptive parents of Ric Flair and Herbert Lehman. And Eleanor Roosevelt even asked Georgia Tann for her advice concerning child welfare. So now we'll start with some background of Georgia Tann. So she was born on July 18th, 1891 to George Clark Tann and Belula Yates Tann in Hickory, Mississippi. She was a very shy person, so when she was growing up, she wouldn't go to parties or hang out with friends or things like that. She would just put on her starched blouses and go and help the poor. So I'm not really sure if she would go to a food kitchen, but I know that she had a lot of service with social services. She would help them a lot. During her service is where her warped views of the poor started to stem from. So while she was doing this service with the poor, she started saying things that were kind of weird, and people started noticing that she believed that the wealthy were higher and that poor people were, quote, readers. It's just weird, honestly. It's just sad. By the 1920s, Georgia knew that there were not a lot of governmental restrictions on adoption, and her father was a judge, so she used these two things to start her adoption scheme. So how her father would help was he would sign papers saying that certain poor people were unfit to be parents, and then she could go in and legally take the children away from their parents. Soon, Tann was hired by the Kate McWillie Powers Receiving Home for Children in Jackson, Mississippi. And this is where she started with kind of her selling of children in Jackson, Mississippi. But they definitely caught on to what she was doing, and they kicked her out. So then she went to Texas, where I think they might have kicked her out as well. There's not a lot of information on her time in Texas, but after Texas is when she came to Memphis. And she started moving up the ladder until becoming the executive director of the Memphis branch of the Tennessee Children's Home Society. That's a mouthful. And she would show up at the homes of poor mothers, maybe ones that she knew were sick, or maybe women she didn't think could really handle being a mother at the time, I don't know, and say, how about I just take your kids for a minute? I've got a big home, and I'll just take them for a little while, while you're kind of getting your feet under yourself and like while you're getting healthy or whatever, and you can come and take them back when you're ready. Well, what they didn't know is that they could never take their kids back, that she was selling their children for profit. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. She actually stole babies from their parents. Lots of them, like thousands and thousands of babies from their parents. For 30 years. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, how she was so successful in Memphis is that she had a lot of friends in the government. What else? She became a friend of Mayor Edward Holcomb, who is notorious for being a very corrupt mayor, and people really aren't surprised that he participated in this in some way. So he helped her set up her own orphanage, which then I believe became the Tennessee Home, or Tennessee Children's Home Society. I believe that it became that, but I may be wrong. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think her orphanage, she started with her orphanage and then it became the Tennessee Home. So he helped her start this with her lesbian partner, Ann Atwood Hollingsworth, and they began selling children together. And they earned upwards of $100,000 in today's money for each child. Some were less and some were more, depending on what the parents could afford. And she also received help from a Memphis family court judge, Camille Kelly. And Kelly took over the job that Tann's father was doing of signing paperwork saying that certain people weren't fit to be parents, so then Georgia Tann could come in and take their children. So other cases show that some parents would take their children to their nursery and come back and their kids were gone. Like, she would come to the nursery and take these children and no one did anything. And they were told that welfare came to take their kids, but it was really this crazy lady. Like, that, isn't that terrifying though? That like, for like 30 years, this woman, like, everyone's like, oh no, she's so sweet. Miss Georgia down the street, she gave me those cookies at one time. And no, she was robbing people of their children. And she looks like a normal woman. That's the scary part, is I saw a picture of her and I was expecting like crazy eyes or like she's holding like 10 cats or something, but no, she looks like someone's grandma. I don't know why this is like firing me up so much, but it is. So, and then others, this is even weirder, others said that these unwed mothers would have their children in the hospital, and then Georgia Tann would come in and say, oh, I'm so sorry, but your child didn't make it, and they like are so like, it came out of nowhere. I mean, the child was born healthy and then the baby just died, when really she was taking their kids and selling and telling them that their kid died. And like, how could you even really know afterwards? Like, imagine like being like going through this grieving process of that your child died, and then finding out that this crazy woman just lied to you and sold your child. And then imagine being the child who finds out that their mother was told that they were dead, And then it was really just a crazy lady took them from their mother. Like, I can't even imagine. That would be so horrible. It's honestly like horrible that this happened to people, and like thousands of people. And then imagine being the adoptive parent who is told, oh yeah, there's this sweet child whose parents, like, I don't know what you tell them, maybe that their parents died, or that their parents were drug addicts and like couldn't take care of their children, or I honestly have no idea. But then finding out that your child was stolen from its mother. And honestly, I mean, and I've said this in every video, I mean no disrespect to anybody who was involved in this. I know that a lot of these people still to this day have no idea that they were involved in this. That both sets of parents were told lies from this woman and her colleagues, and I mean, no disrespect to the families of these people who were involved in this. No disrespect at all. I honestly just find this very interesting, and I don't know if that makes me a horrible person, but I find this very interesting. So, no disrespect to anyone involved in this. I just wanted to get this story out there. I'd never heard of it, and I found it very interesting. Continuing on. So, she would only deal with white children. This was Memphis during the 40s, and you understand. Preferably children with blonde hair and blue eyes, because they were the children that would get the most profit, which is really sad to me. Didn't only sell children to adoptive parents, but also known sexual offenders and labor camps. She also sold children to replace those who died. I don't know. If she could not find a home for a child, she would just kill them and bury them in the backyard. Just kill them. And her death toll is in the thousands. This woman was a psycho. A serial killer. Honestly, she was a serial killer. And her practices pushed Memphis's infant mortality rates to the highest in the country at the time. Her alone did, And it's said that in 1945, 40 to 50 children died in 4 months in her house. They would be subjected to beatings, starvings, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, everything. And the infants would be in severe heat. She would sedate them while she was looking for them a home, so she wouldn't have to deal with them or feed them or anything. And if a child was sick, then she just left it to die. Yeah, left it to die. Because she wasn't going to be able to sell it. So while she spoke at events about speaking against child abuse, really in her home all of this was going on. People hired her to speak at events about raising children and taking care of children. This is what she was doing. So finally in 1950, the police caught on to her practices, finally. And they went to go question her, but she was so sick with cancer that she wasn't even questioned. And so the police, I think, I might be wrong, the police released what she was doing to the newspapers, and 3 days later she died. The police know that she was doing this, and the public know that she was doing this, but she was never put on trial or anything like that. However, some good did come of this, that after this scandal was released, the adoption reform laws were put in place in 1951. So yeah, I mean, I think that's really all there is to say about this. I hope that you found it interesting, and again, no disrespect to anyone involved in this case. I know thousands of people were involved in this, and most of them had no idea it was going on. So I just found this really interesting. I hope that you found this video interesting. I had never heard of it before, and it was quite a doozy to look up. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. And let me know if you have any ideas of other videos I should do. Um, I hope that you've enjoyed them so far. So thank you so much for watching, and come back for more.